Hey guys, this is Anita. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. What makes this book unique and what I thought about different themes explored in this book. Kindred is the first science fiction book written by a black woman. This is not as science heavy as Butler's other works, Xenogenesis series and Pattern Master series. Butler uses sci-fi element as a tool to tell her story in Kindred. It mainly follows a 26-year-old African-American woman, Dana, who travels back in time one day from 1976 California to early 1800s Maryland. She saves a 5-year-old kid from drowning in the journey, but she has no clue why she traveled back in time and where she was. In her next travel back in time, she saves the same kid from a fire accident and she realizes that this kid Rufus is her ancestor, and she is traveling back in time whenever these kids life is endangered. Rufus is the son of a plantation owner. When Dana talks to Rufus for the first time, he was 8 years old, and Dana develops a bond with him and hopes if she can make Rufus a better person and not cruel like his father or other slave owners Dana read from history. Through Dana's journey, we see the reality of slavery during early 1800s. This story is not exactly a critique of slavery. This is more about human nature, human endurance, how system affects an innocent child, how power corrupts a person, and how far one can go for their survival. Butler did not make Rufus outright cruel. It is more complicated than that. Many times Dana finds herself in a position where she has to compromise her values. She has to make a choice between saving Rufus and compromising her integrity. I felt these moments are handled very realistic. Butler's prose is not flowery, it is very simple, but she always manages to show me different side of myself. I read Parable of Sower and Parable of Talents by her, where world was brutal and I cry easily in books. But as I said in that review, Butler chose a practical character as narrator in that series, and because of that I quickly moved on from specific events and managed to focus on solution. I had similar experience in Kindred. I tend to see things black and white most of the times when characters find themselves in a position where they have to compromise their values and their survival. I want them to choose their values. I like characters who do that irrespective of consequences. In this book, many times Dana finds herself in that position. She had to choose her survival many times, and I find myself understanding her actions. It may not be a big deal for everyone, but it is for me. It is a surprise for me that I did not expect Dana to take drastic actions or to change the conditions of slaves in the plantation. This book gives us an amazing insight into slavery through modern women's perspective. After spending some time in early 1800s, Dana once says that she never realized how easy people can be trying to accept slavery. This is so realistic and true, and that's what makes it a powerful statement. Throughout the history, we have seen many incidents that make this statement very true. One day Dana was sent to work in plantation, and overseer there was very cruel. He whips Dana for not doing the work fast, though it's her first day. By evening, Dana gets terrified by just the sound of his coming, and she finds herself working faster. And other slaves in the field are not friendly with Dana because they think that Dana is too close with Rufus. Being that close with a white man is wrong in their opinion. One guy mentions that to Dana, and Dana's response to that is very realistic. She tells him that they all work in fields every day like mules. They do that to keep the skin on their backs and breath in their bodies, and they are not the only ones who has to do what they don't like for survival. We all make choices for our survival, but we judge others for theirs. We fail to understand others' choices because we don't know their perspective. Butler made this point very well in my opinion. There is this conversation between Dana and her husband. Dana's husband is a white man in present time, and he tells that conditions on the plantation aren't that bad. Dana tells him that there is no decent housing, dirt floors to sleep, inadequate food, and no rights. You don't have to beat people to be brutal. When Dana's husband that he's not minimizing the wrong going on there, Dana quickly tells him that he may not mean to do that, but that's what he's doing. I find this very relevant to our times where we think we understand, but we totally miss the point most of the times. Butler did an excellent job in exploring sexism, racism, and bigotry. She She does not sugarcoat anything, and I'm glad about that. I did not read American history growing up. I am from India, but I can see parallels between many incidents in this book and the history I read. Power structure works almost same everywhere. Many things changed now. Most of the things discussed in this book are illegal now, but they do happen even now. For example, Rufus loves one black woman. She does not love him back. She loves and marries another slave, but that did not stop Rufus. He uses his power as slave owner to get what he wants, and he gets away with it. People these days gets away with it using money and politics. That entitlement is still there. It's the same with racism. Just the other day I read an article that African American employees of Tesla are suing the company for racial discrimination. It's surprising that they're experiencing segregation at work. It's unfortunate that we have to fight for equality and respect even now. Kindred gives us clear picture of slavery, how people endured and how far we have come. And it also reminds us how long we have to go. If you have already read this, please let me know your thoughts in comments. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.